Okay, so the United States of America 6 and Martinique 1. We did the job, guys. We routed them as we expected to do. It was a very one-sided game for the most part, right? And we are through to the quarterfinals of the Gold Cup. Okay, so how's everybody feeling? Filippo, how are you?
It was a very chill game, right? I'm happy. We got a big win. It's unfortunate that we didn't get that one more goal differential. So we play Canada on Sunday having to win to get the first place.
Yeah.
But then again, Pete, we also don't know if getting first place would be a blessing or a curse. We don't know.
That's true, right? Because right now Mexico is behind. They're behind. What do you call it? El Salvador, right? So we don't know how that's going to go. Let me just adjust my camera here. It's a little crooked. Okay. How's everybody feeling, guys? Steve, Davis, Jordan, Brandon, Dylan, Matthew. Guys, before we get into the game, okay, let's take the disclaimer out of the way first, okay? The disclaimer is what? This was Martinique, all right? This was a terrible, terrible team. That being said, this was the team we played. So this is the team that we have to analyze, right, against Martinique. Yes, it was a terrible team. And ultimately, anybody who had a good performance today, we need to see them against some tougher opposition in order to properly evaluate them, right? But it was a good day. We won 6-1 in a competitive game in the Gold Cup with a lot of very young players and very new players, very inexperienced players, and guys, a lot of very technical players. And then we've been asking for that, right? We've been saying we need this. So I think overall it was a very positive night. And we'll do the thing that we do where we'll start with the positives and then we'll get into the quote unquote issues and then we'll do player ratings and all of that. So how are you guys feeling? I love coming here and everybody's already in the chat arguing. It's great. Yeah. Canada has a few players on yellow. Will they sit them versus the U.S.? They might. I have a feeling that's probably will probably be the case. Joshua Martinez. One question. Did we love to see it? Yes, we did. Yes, we did love. I love to see it. I hope you guys love to see it. Anytime the U.S. wins, we love to see it, especially when it's a comprehensive performance like that. Filippo. If you had to sum up this game in one sentence before we start getting into the positives, well, how would you sum it up?
One word or one sentence?
One sentence.
Man, you caught me on the spot. Do you have a sentence? I need to think of this.
I just wanted to see if you had something, but that's fine. We can save our sentences for later.
I'm more creative when I'm not tired. I'm pretty creative with sentences and nicknames, but I'm trying to.
I hear you. You've had a long. Guys. Filippo is the GOAT. First of all, can we celebrate the fact that Filippo just got 10,000 subs on YouTube? Amazing mark to hit, guys. Well done.
Thanks
Filippo
to you.
put so much work into his channel, and he does 3-4 videos. And not just Filippo. Let's give Dustin some credit too, who works really hard to edit and produce. And these guys deserve it, guys. So huge kudos to both of you. And just got home from work and you do a 3-hour stream. Well done.
Just to make one thing clear from that too. The 10,000 subscribers, it's thanks to Dustin as well. It's actually thanks to Pete as well for all the videos and all the work he does with us and discussions, agreeing, disagreeing, all that. And mostly for both channels, it's mostly thank you to the viewers, obviously.
Yeah, it's you guys, right? You guys make this community what it is, you know? Edward Vento says, so happy for Daryl Dike. I went to high school with him and was able to watch him a lot. Very excited to follow his career. It must be so fun to go to high school with a guy who ends up playing for the national team and you get to watch him and support him. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff here. Taj Scott says, I liked Williamson, his ball on first goal. Yeah, I really liked Williamson too. I know he was not perfect, but overall, I really, really liked it. I really liked it. Let me see if I got all of these. Okay, from Mantro, CA, Canada is still #1, guys. Sorry. You are first in the group.
They're so rude.
Look, Matro 25, yes. Your Canada A team, minus a few players, is still ahead of us on goal difference, ahead of our C team on goal difference. Congratulations, sir. Andre, not buying the MLS hype of Busio and Turner. We'll get into the issues in just a little bit. Joey Klein, Nico is so likable. Hope he's a part of our future. Definitely a likable guy. I think he needs to be played as a center forward if we're going to play him. Somebody said, at some point, can we try to predict the starting lineup for next game? Well, it worked. Both of us had very similar lineups, right? And it's pretty much what we got minus Roldan, right? I hope we can keep Gomez. Bello did not impress. Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I don't think either Vines or Bello is the solution to our left back problems. But let's get into the whole the positives, right? I'm going to start with the first positive, if you don't mind, and that was the lineup, right? When we saw that starting lineup, it was everything we'd been asking for. It was the guys we wanted to see: James Sands, Eric Williamson, Gianluca Busio, and Matthew Hoppe specifically, right? And almost at least three of those four had very good games. And we'll talk about Busio, but I think we need to pump the brakes a little on the negativity with Busio. I don't think he was as bad as some people are saying he was. Okay. What's your positive?
So my positive is Daryl Dike, and not because he showed anything different. He didn't show any improvement on his technical ability, but the guy he technically got 3 goals, I guess, but they didn't count one. So let's say 2.
I thought they did count one. They counted the second one, didn't they?
Apparently they didn't. That's what they were saying. I need to check still. But in my point of view, he got 3 goals. He had a hat trick. And I think the positive with it is what you can expect from your 9 if he does have some deficiency like DK is to score goals. His third goal, we got to give him a lot of credit. It was a bad touch at first, but he bodied his way through it, and it was a clinical finish. It was a nice finish.
Yeah.
So I think DK was a positive. I don't want to look into it too much. We need to see him with a tougher opponent, but it was a positive. He did what he had to do.
Yeah. Agreed. My other positive is, sort of the theme of this game for me, and it's not really a sentence, but there are a couple of words that come to mind. It's courage, personality, and intent. Now, we saw a very young team that hadn't played together a lot show on the field that they, compared to Haiti, where it was so slow and so dull and so side to side and backwards passing, what we saw today was a team with intention. So especially coming from our midfield, when they wanted the ball, the idea was, can we get it forward quickly? Can we attack? Can we penetrate? Can we show our quality? Can we show what we're all about? And that's what we'd been asking for, a team that had A, technical ability, B, creativity, C, incisiveness and penetration. And yes, it's just Martinique, but I love seeing that from our players. I loved seeing these guys show that personality, even if it didn't always come off. And sometimes the decision were poor, you know what I mean? But the desire and the intention and the personality, I really liked to see it.
Mm-hmm. And to add what you're saying there, that goes, what we need to add to that is the personality part. It doesn't matter the opponent. So the player showed up regardless, because if a player doesn't have a strong personality in the field, he'll scramble against a bad opponent as well.
Yeah.
So that was a positive. I agree. That was a positive. And obviously, as Peter already did the disclaimer, yes, it is Martinique. So we're aware of that. We are aware.
For sure.
Another positive, I'm going to probably go another individual performance here. I think James Sands does need to be tested against an actual offense.
Yeah.
But besides that, he looked somewhat commanding as a central center back. Good interceptions. Asked for the ball, played. I like that from James Sands today. But we do need to see him get actually tested. Yeah, for sure. Quick question, one from Gary Cobb. How do you think Berhalter feels about starting Lewis over Hoppe now? Opposition aside, there was a weapons-grade gulf between the performances. Yeah, Gary, I mean, that should be obvious to everyone, and we shouldn't even have needed this game to know that. There's a reason one of them was a Bundesliga starter and one of them is a bench player for Colorado Rapids, right? Massive gulf. I still don't think that Hoppe is a wide player. I think he's being forced out wide because Greg still forgot to bring a lot of wide players, and so we could have a chance to have seen Hoppe higher up the field. But yeah, you're right. Already, even though he's playing out of position, he was so much better than Lewis. And I thought a lot of the good work that he did, especially in the first half, came when he was drifting inside. I wish he'd stayed on the field a little bit longer. Gio Lopez.
Roldan is so bad. Who let him wear number 10? Also, why did Greg keep him on but take out DK and Hoppy? Man, so I was willing to give Roldan one more chance. He had a terrible 2019. Look, he's a sweet guy. He's a nice guy. He's a good MLS midfielder. He's always going to work hard. He's selfless, but he just has no quality on the ball, right? Even against Martinique, that was pretty evident, I think. I mean, I thought he was slightly better in the second half when he moved a little more central, but even so, not enough for me to say he deserves to be with our top 23. What do you think about Roldan?
100%. And like we said, this is a game where we judge more the bad performances in regards to the good. And I mean, Roldan wasn't, and it's not like he had the worst performance in the world.
No.
But he was just very mediocre against an opponent that a lot of players shined, obviously. So again, Roldan just confirmed what we thought of him. Obviously, me and Pete haven't been following the Sounders as much. I watched like 2 games. And he's just the same Roldan as always. It's the same player.
Yeah. He's going to have a great MLS career, guys, not national team material. Steve Hobson, Triple G finally made the changes we've been waiting for. 100%, guys. 100%. And I was very happy to see that. And that's going to bump Triple G's rating at the end of this video up. So keep your eye out for that. Chad Van Brunt. Wee! Hey, Pete. Can't wait to hear you and Tac drop the knowledge. He's drunk?
No, he really is. Yeah. He said he was.
Preach. You guys really have created a space for discerning fans, and I am drunk. I'm glad you're drunk. I'm glad you're drunk. Am I dumb, or did Roldan not play bad? No, I don't think you're dumb. And it's not that he played terribly. He just didn't really do anything of note. And against Martinique, you know what I mean? You expect better. So he didn't have a bad game, but for a 27-year-old veteran of this team, you expected him to be one of the better performers against this team. Part of it, I think, was true that he played wide. I don't think he's a winger. And I thought he was slightly better when he came in field. But even then, okay, he's not a game changer. He's not a difference maker. And if you're not that against Martinique, what are you? You know? If Acosta didn't come on and foul, the U.S. would be number 1 in the group. I agree with you, Matt. And we'll talk about Acosta when we talk about the issues. DK is a stud. Next stop, thoughts on Bundesliga. I don't think DK is ready for Bundesliga, guys. I think that DK is a very physical guy, and today he used his physique very well to bully the opponents, and that's very good in CONCACAF. But technically, he still has a lot of work to do if he's going to ever play in a top 5 league. And we like DK, okay? We're not trying to be hard on him. We like him. I like him a lot. I know Tac likes him. I just don't think he's top 5 material ready yet. Okay. Steve Hobson, DK has heavy feet, poor touches against bad opposition. Yeah. His touches are poor, He's a big body. He's an athlete, and he gets up in the air well, and he'll bulldoze through midfield, through defenses. Technically, he still has a lot to work on. He's young. Can he work on them? Can he improve them the way that Jordan Morris did? I certainly hope so, because there's a lot to like about DK outside of that. His off-the-ball movement, for example, were very good. Let's do another positive. I'm going to talk about Walker Zimmerman. This is the second game in a row that Walker Zimmerman has been commanding in the defense. Didn't really make any distinguishable mistakes, except for maybe one time where he got caught a little high. But even then, it was sort of a half mistake, and he covered for it. And also, his distribution was really good. And Jimmy Bird, if you're in the chat, I think you should be very happy with Walker Zimmerman's performances today. I know you're a Nashville guy and you love Walker. Now, the question with Walker, of course, as always, is, against better opposition, if he gets isolated 1v1, how will he do? But so far today, excellent performances from Walker, 2 games in a row, almost flawless, both games. No, didn't you think so, Tac?
No, he was good today. Again, he was good twice. And he almost... they made a joke that he played better as a winger than Roldan. He had a nice play there that he almost scored as a winger too throughout the game. You can hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
He held his own, but then again, it's especially the defenders against the 2 competitions we faced. It's so hard to judge. We need to see, and
we need to see.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the caveat, right? We need to see all of these guys against Canada and even against better teams in Canada, because they may rest some of their, but we're talking about today. So for today, Walker Zimmerman was a huge positive, and I'm going to give him that. Jordan Alford says, nobody was outright poor, but having a mediocre performance, Martinique isn't going to cut it. So if you mean isn't going to cut it against World Cup qualifying opponents, then yes, I agree with you. You cannot be mediocre against Martinique and expect to be in the top 23. Agreed. Chris Casenza, missed this, guys. Second time Hoppy, Sargent, and DK. Hoppy, Sargent, and DK are 3 strikers, period. I agree with you, Chris. Right now, if I go into World Cup qualifying, I'm taking those 3. What do you think, Tac?
Right now, it has to be those 3. I mean, what are other options, right?
I mean, there's Pifok.
I didn't like him.
I didn't like him either. I thought he was poor in the Nations League. His off-ball. Yeah. The thing about DK, like Pifok doesn't have a very good touch. He's a lot like DK, but at least DK will bulldoze you and stretch. DK is always stretching that back line with his runs. We saw it against Northern Ireland. We saw it against Costa Rica. We saw it again today. And I love to see that from him.
DK he's very mobile in the field. He's all over the place. He moves a lot. And he's not smart runs. Smart runs. Smart runs.
And he gets in your face. He bulldozes you. You know what I mean? And in CONCACAF, that has a place. I don't think he would be my starter, but I think he's definitely somebody you can bring on if we're getting out-muscled. Busio's set pieces were pretty poor. Dean, I think they were poor at times and good at times. I think the word that describes Busio was inconsistent. And we'll get into that when we talk about the issues. Filippo, do you have one more positive for us?
We already talked. Did we? Oh, you didn't say this. The win.
Yeah. We got 3 points.
So we like me and Pete said at the other channel too. Pete mentioned that we could have been a little sloppy in the beginning because of the young guys and everything. But it's always said we wanted a win to a bare minimum, score 4 goals. We scored 6. Unfortunately, we didn't get a clean sheet because Acosta just didn't want us to get a clean sheet. But at the end of the day, it was a 6-1 win, so it doesn't matter who we faced. It's more goals than Canada scored in Martinique, for example. So,
yeah. Andre says, I'm very pleased with Shaq Moore. I'm rooting for him. Yeah, I thought he was a little quieter today, but a lot of that was because Roldan was occupying the space in front of him. All right. So Roldan was the one making those runs to stretch the line and then try to put crosses in. And that sort of made him hold back a little bit more. So he was quieter, but I'm not prepared to say that was on him. You know,
yeah. Remember that who was playing the right wing last game a little bit was Pariola, but then it had Gioacchini and he comes middle a lot, which opens up for Shaq Moore. While Roldan, when he's wide, he's wide. He stays wide.
He's wide. And so that makes Shaq Moore hang back a little bit. Jordan Alford, also maybe because I've played goalkeeper, but Turner doesn't fill me with confidence. Looks very nervy back there, especially with his feet, I would say. Like his passing out of the back is not good, you know? And guys, Turner started playing soccer at 14, 15 years old. That is so late. That is so late if you're going to be an elite keeper. You know, you okay? You look tired, man.
I'm just yawning right now because it came from work, but keep going.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I agree. What did you think about Turner? I thought as far as his shot stopping, he was fine. I didn't think there was anything wrong there.
See, Turner, the main thing with Turner is his reflexes. They're very good, very close, like very shots from like 5-10 yards away, very close. He's very good at that. Coming out of the goal, he's quick, right? Very athletic. With his feet, honestly, I don't want to say the worst, but he's pretty much as bad as it gets with his feet. He's not very good.
Yeah. And this is why we cannot say we don't need David Ochoa. We may have Horvath and Steffen starting on the bench again for their clubs at the start of this season, and Turner can't play with his feet. So the idea that we should just let Ochoa go, I disagree with it. We don't know what this goalkeeper pool is going to play out to look like. So let's do everything we can to hang on to David Ochoa. Lag Too Hard says, Zardes low-key seemed better today than usual. I thought, you want to start, Tac? You want to start with that?
Yeah, look, I don't think he looked – okay, sometimes you might look better depending on your opposition. First, the goal he scored, it was assisted by the defender. They gave it to him. He was faced. You expect your center forward to score those goals. He also had a lot of bad touches a lot of the time.
Yeah.
That's his artist. So I don't think he looked better. He looked pretty much the same. The only thing is he scored a goal that it wasn't like the ball deflecting out of his head when someone blasted on. It was like a normal goal. but
Yeah.
I don't think Zardes looked good at all.
So the way I'm going to describe it is if you look at the goal he scored, right, where he had so much time and space, right, because the goalie, the defender goes to ground and misses the ball, misses the clearance. So he's got lots of time and space to finish in the corner, to pick his spot. Congrats. It was a good finish, right? And then the second one where I think it was actually Roldan who curls a ball in, and his first touch is so bad when he's under pressure, when he doesn't have time and space, his first touch is so bad that it allows the center back to clear for a corner. You understand? So that is Zardes for you, right? He's always been that. When he has so much space and time, he'll look good. He has a nice touch. You know, when he doesn't have time and space, that's when the technical deficiency shows itself. And I think we saw that with Zardes today. We saw the good of that and the bad of that. And that is going to, it's like, that's who Zardes is going to be. Right?
Have you also ever noticed, well, you definitely noticed, Zardes' inability to do 1-2 plays, like give and go. He never does that. Even when I saw it today, I can't remember who it was. They gave him the ball, they expected a run, and he kind of like held it and he lost it at the left side of the field.
Yeah.
I don't.
He's going to work hard. He's going to come back and try to combine. He's going to do a lot of good things, right? But ultimately, he's got a limited technical ability, and that will show. And that will show even more. This was Martinique. That will show even more when we're facing better teams, right? There's a reason he wasn't in Nations League, okay? Jeremy Bourne, and this is my last positive before we get into some of the issues. I thought Williamson looked really good. He has the swag of a really confident midfielder who is shifty in tight spaces. 100%, Jeremy. And while I don't think his performance was perfect, I thought that Williamson is that guy who can receive the ball on the turn, make penetrating passes, improvise under pressure, right? And beat men on the dribble, right? The first free kick we won in the first half, right, was Eric Williamson receiving the ball on the half turn, beating a guy on the dribble, and then getting fouled for Busio to try his luck at a free kick just outside the box. Leggett doesn't do that. Acosta doesn't do that. Yule doesn't do that. And, you know, I'm going to show in Patreon tomorrow Williamson's performance, because while it wasn't perfect, it was mostly positive. Mm-hmm. Do you have any more positives before we start talking about some of the issues?
From the top of my head, no.
Okay.
But we can go to the negatives. There's a few to talk about. I guess, I don't know if I think Hoppy was a positive. We can quickly talk about that. Just Hoppy.
Yeah. Again, the three players that I came away most impressed with today were Hoppy, Williamson, and James Sands. Okay. Let's Chad Van Brunt starting us off with a good topic, because this is going to cause some debate, I think, in general USMNT circles. Worried about Busio physically as a 6. Yes, I am. And I said this after the Haiti game, that I like Busio. I'm not sure the 6 is the best place for him, especially in CONCACAF. Because in CONCACAF, he will get out-muscled, and his duels today, he wasn't very good. For me, he's also a little bit slow to read and close down danger, and that's a huge part of the 6's job, to close down danger before it becomes a problem. But I know Filippo disagrees with me, so I want to hear your perspective.
Honestly, well, today I saw it a little better. I don't think the physicality is a problem for him as a 6. I think it's a problem for him, period. Yeah. Wherever you put him, especially in CONCACAF. It's not really a 6 issue. I did think for someone, so he doesn't have the physical attributes to hold the ball for so long. And I thought for someone that size, he held the ball a little bit too much at times. If you're not going to be able to body people, you're not going to be able to protect the ball, you need to do quick touches, one touch pass. He held a little bit too much. And yeah, that does worry me, but not specifically at the 6. Just any position he plays, the physicality worries me.
So I agree with you there, except that I think it's going to be more pronounced as a 6. So if you get bodied off the ball as a 6, you all of a sudden put your team in a dangerous spot. Whereas if you get bodied off the ball near the top of the opponent's box, it's not as dangerous. Yes, it can lead to a counterattack. But if you're going to play him, I think he's better as a dual 8 right now, because maybe as he evolves and grows and puts on some muscle and becomes more of a man, then he will be a 6. I don't know. I'm not sure he's ready to be a 6 in CONCACAF.
Would you agree that the way the physicality, he deals with physicality right now, he just can't play in CONCACAF right now for us.
Yeah, I wouldn't start him in CONCACAF. And look, we have plenty of other midfielders that are better than Busio, right? This was an opportunity for him to show what he can do, and he will continue to improve, guys. He's 19 years old. No one's tossing the book out on Busio and saying he's not good enough. It's just that right now, you can tell he has talent. You can tell there's creativity there. And specifically in the second half, when he got higher up the field, you saw him starting to become involved with attacking plays a lot more. But again, that's against Martinique. So I would say it was an inconsistent performance from Busio. We saw some very good moments where you see his talent, his ability on the turn. You see his ability to pass penetratively, incisively. You see his, sometimes very good set pieces, sometimes very poor. So it was inconsistent. And for a 19-year-old, that's probably understandable. Overall, though, I'm really going to struggle to criticize anybody who shows me a technical, creative part of their game, because we've lacked that for so long, and we've been asking for that. We've been asking for these guys to get an opportunity, right? And as a 19-year-old, you might be inconsistent. That's okay. That's okay. He'll get more chances. He'll continue to develop, especially if he goes to Italy. He will continue to grow as a player. I don't think he's ready to be our backup 6, Tyler Adams, in World Cup qualifying, guys. I just don't. Not yet, anyways. All right, Robin Russell. USA versus Canada will be a battle of two teams that aren't at full strength. I'm way more excited for the qualifiers since we see all teams full strength. Yes, we're all more excited for World Cup qualifying. That's going to be all the best players. But this is still a good, time to look at some of the other options that we have. Do you have an issue that you want to highlight, Tac?
An issue that I want to, maybe not an issue, but a disappointment. I was a little disappointed with George Bello today. I don't think he was horrible. He was horrible, but since it was Martinique, again, I was expecting him to have a little bit more of his way on offense. He was very poor with his right foot in several plays throughout the match, with his right foot every time he had to switch to the other foot, and he didn't really dominate his side. It's more of on me because I had higher expectations than on him, because he wasn't terrible by any means. And he's still young, so I'm not going to judge him the way I would judge Roldan. But I just wanted him to have a strong performance today so we could make an argument against Vines. But he didn't do it.
I think Bello was very one-footed too. Oftentimes when you see him get the ball on his right, he becomes very uncomfortable. And that can make him a little bit one-dimensional. And you don't want a one-dimensional left back. I will say he was pretty solid defensively, but that he wasn't really tested defensively, so it's very hard to say. Frank Kassler, Busio.
But before you go, did he disappoint you on offense as well a little bit?
Yes, very much so. Especially moments where I thought his first touch could have been better, or he could have been more incisive or more decisive with his decision-making. Busio was better early when he was deeper. He tailed off when he was pushed up the pitch. See, I actually disagree. I thought he was better higher up the pitch. I think he was more comfortable making short passes, with more space when he was deeper. But I thought he impacted the game more when he was higher up the pitch, personally.
Yeah, I liked Busio when he was. I did like Busio in the beginning of the game when he was closer to the center backs, bringing the ball up. But then again, he wasn't getting tested physically. They weren't botting him. He was being allowed to play. And I can't say anything about that because I would be being unfair to Jackson Yeo, for example. Because if you let Jackson Yeo play, he'll probably look good as well if you let him play.
Right.
So he did look better, but it could have been because of that reason. They weren't really pressing him. They were just letting him play.
Yeah, they were. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the tactical reasons why that was. Thank you, Frank. And thanks, everybody, for the super chats, by the way. So, guys, some people are saying, how come I didn't say Dike as a positive? Yeah, huge positive, but Filippo already said him. So we're not saying this. So if Tac already says Dike, I'm not going to say it again. That's why. But I do like Dike, guys. I thought he was great. Sands for Tyler Adams back up in the 6. Honestly, Austin, I wouldn't hate that. I'd like to see it tried. I actually like that. I would like to see that tried. I think that could be a very interesting option. You know what else I thought we should have tried was Yunus Musa as a backup 6 in the Nations League. But we didn't do that because we had to give Jackson Ewell as many minutes as we possibly could. So, but I like the Sands. He's played as a 6 for NYCFC, and today he showed me a lot of attributes of a guy who you want at the 6. So I wouldn't mind seeing that at all, actually. My turn to take.
It's your turn. I have another one in my mind, but go yours. Go yours.
I'm just going to go Kellen Acosta. If you come on the field, and yeah, maybe your right back is not your favorite position or your best position, but you can't get beat 1v1 in your penalty box to Martinique and concede a goal 5 minutes after you get on the field. That's not okay to me, So that's, for me, that's an issue with Kellen Acosta. And it's been an issue with him before, being defensively suspect, right?
So you want me to go to mine?
Yeah.
I know I might be being unfair because this player played very little minutes. I think he played at most 10 minutes in this game. Donovan Pines, the little bit I saw from him, it didn't look good at all. It was very sloppy, bad on defense, very poor on the ball, just got size. That's all I saw. But it was just 10 minutes. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't think I'm gonna have high expectations on him.
No. I saw him play for DC against Toronto a couple weeks ago, and even though they won 7-1, he was just very suspect under pressure. Very suspect. I don't think Donovan Pines is USMNT material, guys. And he's already 23, 24. He's not a kid, right? Off topic, but expectations for Reyna this season, number 7. Yeah, my expectation for him is consistency, right? What we saw from Reyna last year was good performances in patches and then bad performances, so up and down. What he needs to do this year, if he wants to solidify a starting role for sure, like a consistent starter, is to be a consistent performer. And it'll be interesting to see where Marco Rosa, is that his name? The new coach, Marco Rosa? It'll be interesting to see where Marco Rosa uses him, whether as a winger or as in midfield or a half spaces merchant. We'll see. My next issue was, why did we bring Jackson Ewell on? Why? Why was that? We've seen enough of Jackson Ewell. Why? Leave Eric Williamson on there. We didn't need to bring Jackson Ewell. Or, scoot James Sands into the 6. Anything. We didn't need to see Jackson Ewell again. I don't understand. That was an issue for me. Why we keep giving this guy more and more caps and more chances.
And he didn't look good again.
No, he looked he had good moments, but mostly when he had space. When he didn't have space, he looked frantic and panicky. He didn't calm the game down. Yeah, guys, Jackson Ewell, how many times do we have to say it? How many times do we have to see it? This guy is not USMNT material, Tao Green says, to be fair on Bello and Moore, we played more central than versus Haiti. Well, yeah, because we were playing 3-5-2, right? Or, well, we were really playing 3-4-3, let's be honest, because Roldan and Hoppy were playing very narrow and very tight. But what that ended up doing was that didn't create a ton of space for Bello and for Shaq Moore to get higher up the field. It didn't work out that way. But
you know what's bad about that, Pete? The thing is, when you play a 3-5-2, you want to use your wing backs, right? Because otherwise you just play fullbacks.
Yeah.
And we did not use our wing backs to the best of their abilities. I think, at least, I don't know. Yeah.
But we didn't play 3-5-2. If you're playing 3-5-2, you have more space. We were playing more of a 3-4-3. So, again, we need to see more of Bello. I wasn't impressed with him today, but he's 19, right? He's about 3 or 4 years younger than Vines. So I still want to see him against Canada and just see if maybe this was what's the word? An outlier in this game.
Outlier.
Do you have any other issues you want to discuss?
Issues. You talked about Jackson Ewell, Donovan Pines. I did have issues with this whole wingback situation, which we already touched on.
Yeah.
About it working. I think that's it. I don't know. Nothing too crazy, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, there weren't that many issues, right? Because when you get a comprehensive 6-1 win, you can criticize some individual performances, but overall, most people were anywhere from decent to great, you know? And like I said, the story of this whole game was not only qualifying for the quarterfinals, but also Berhalter finally putting out a lineup that included young, creative, technical players, Hoppy, Sands, Busio, Williamson, and they delivered for the most part. At least 3 of them were pretty consistently good throughout the game. Hoppy, man, like you can see his technical level is so far above a lot of the guys in this team. And that's not a surprise, or it shouldn't be a surprise. Why he didn't play more? I was disappointed that he came off in the 54th minute, but also, go ahead.
I think the reason for that, even though we might agree with it or not, but Hoppy was on vacation. So he came in for almost preseason. So the game was done. Berhalter was probably just trying to preserve him.
Yeah. Hoppy hasn't played a game in 2 months, and that's the performance he gives us. Wait till he's like fully in form. We could see a very different, story with Matthew Hoppy, and also playing out of position. What I thought was really interesting about Hoppy, and this is kind of a tactical wrinkle here, about the 20th minute, what they did was Martinique pulled their wide players inside a little bit to try to cut off passing lanes, because Williamson and Busio were getting passes in behind quite easily. And so they narrowed their midfield line to try to cut passing lanes down. And so then that's when we started giving balls away unnecessarily. But then Hoppy moved inside and almost played like a 10. And that's when we saw us start to build rhythm again. So you saw Hoppy recognize what was going on, move inside, and basically help overload the midfield. And he became an outlet between the midfield and the forwards. And that was both very intelligent and exactly what we needed. Dominic Pittman, can Moore/Zim handle Buchanan on Sunday? It's a good question, right? I guess we'll find out. Maybe it'll be Reggie Cannon. I think, Tajon Buchanan is going to be a huge issue, right? Very fast, very technical, very good 1v1.
I mean, we'll see. There has to be coverage, right? You can't put Buchanan on a one-on-one situation with Zimmerman.
No, you can't, and so that's why, but they're going to have to cover for each other, right? So you're going to have Moore be very strong defensively, and then Zimmerman cover for him as a result. We're going to see. We'll see how that goes, but I'm curious to see how they handle it. Mr. Agreeable, few chances on 15 corners. Need better set pieces. Yeah, I think Busio's set pieces were inconsistent, right? He had some good ones that we probably should have scored from, and then also some not great ones, some poor ones, So we'll see. I want to highlight one more issue, actually, was Miles Robinson. I thought he was inconsistent as well. I thought he had some moments where he either misjudged the flight of a ball and came in too hard and then lost the duel, or just his passing was not as great as it should have been, which is weird because he was mostly pretty good against Haiti. But today I thought that Miles Robinson was not as good, and against Martinique, not a great thing, TBH.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, not because he wasn't that. I didn't notice it. I just didn't see it in the game. I need to rewatch the game too without looking at the chat and everything. Yeah. But if what you're saying is true and I trust your judgment, it's a little worrisome, right? If he struggled with Martinique.
Yeah. It wasn't a lot, guys, but it was enough. If it's 4 or 5 times in the game as a center back, that's worrying, because against a better opponent, they'll punish you for moments like that, So Chris Casenza says, PIY, Miles on the right, problem solved. I don't know if that's problem solved. I think he might be faster than Zimmerman, but Zimmerman might be a little more steady and reliable. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have to wait and see how that actually, plays out. Hit the like button, guys, if you haven't done it already. Tac, let's get into player and coach ratings.
Yes. That's my favorite part. I like that.
That's your favorite part?
Yes.
We're at 350. Somebody said that Extra Time wasn't even doing a live stream tonight. Is that true?
No, they're doing it. They're doing it,
huh? How's their situation over there?
They have 500. I checked.
Oh, wow. They're growing.
Yeah. Matt Doyle's growing, man. They're growing. But congratulations to them.
Thanks for that.
It's not like they have a lot of resources, and I have my white wall and you have your coaching board right there. It's not like they have many resources, right?
Yeah.
Or highlights.
That's true. They get to use highlights in their analysis, right? All right. H. Lee, who has the higher ceiling, Paredes or Nyman? Ooh, that's very hard to say right now. Very hard to say. I'm going to guess Nyman. So, now, I haven't seen enough of them, to be honest.
It's I don't like to say things that I haven't watched enough. Like I said, I barely watch Paredes. It's Paredes or Paredes.
I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it.
In Spanish and Portuguese, it's Paredes. In Portuguese, at least, it's Paredes. So I might actually. Okay, maybe I'm right. I don't know. So I don't know. I need to watch them a little more. Paredes is probably much more technically gifted than Neiman. So that could be an issue, but it could be something positive for him. But I need to watch more. I actually want to follow those two more because people are talking very highly of them, and you talk very well about them too. So I want to watch those two.
Yeah, players. I think Nyman's very technical as well. He's just very small, and in MLS that sometimes hurts him. But I think he's very technical. I think they're both very technical players. I'm actually going to go Nyman. I think Nyman might have the higher ceiling, but it's sort of a wait and see situation. Okay, let's talk about ratings now. Okay. Matt Turner. Remember, guys, for these ratings, 10 is excellent. 1 is just unacceptable, awful. 5 is average.
Matt Turner?
Yeah, Matt Turner.
All right. So Matt Turner was the same as always. He was shaky with his feet at times. The goal he allowed was a penalty kick, so I can't blame him for that. He had some good saves, even like pretty close at times, which saved it. Yeah. But I can't give him more than I'm just gonna say he was average. He was a 5.
I'm gonna give him a 5 too, because his passing was again suspect, right? Even the short passing, guys, the short passing to the center backs. You know how somebody has poor technical ability when their pass bobbles. If you can't pass 10, 15 yards without the ball bobbling awkwardly, it's not a very good pass. And that wasn't because of the field, right? The field was fine. That was it was poor passing. And he just doesn't look technically competent under pressure, which, like we said earlier, is understandable, right? Because hasn't started playing soccer since he was 14, 15, played a lot of hockey, played a lot of volleyball, played a lot of like hand sports. So good shot stopper. I have real questions if Matt Turner is going to make it onto our senior roster because Berhalter wants to play with his feet so much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So
Shaq Moore.
You want me to go first, Shaq Moore?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give him a 5 as well right away. I don't think he was terrible. I don't think he was good. I think he was a little bit affected more by the tactics of Berhalter and the players he played rather than his performance. So he was average, but he also did not stand out. So average.
Yeah, average. Remember, if you don't really stand out against Martinique, it's hard for us to give you a really good rating, I'm going to give him a 5 as well. Walker Zimmerman. I'm going to give Walker Zimmerman a 7.5.
Yeah,
because
I'll stay close to that too. But go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that, you could say he didn't really do anything wrong, and it was mostly pretty good, except for 1 or 2 moments where you're not sure about that. He did have one moment where he came up the field to intercept a ball and sort of misjudged the flight of it, but he cleared it up. I'll give him a 7.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little more hard. I agree with everything you said, by the way. I'm just giving a different number. I think I'm going to give him a 6 because of the opponent. I think this is not really a test for him, right? So he definitely was better than average.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give him a 6, but I agree with everything you said in regards to it.
Let's talk James Sands.
I thought he was a little bit our best center back today.
Yeah, I'm going to I don't know if he was our best. I thought he was our best. Very similar to Walker Zimmerman. He had one moment in the first half where he tried to dribble into midfield under pressure and gave it away, but he recovered very well. And considering this was his debut, I'm going to give him an 8 because I also thought he was very good at distributing into midfield, intercepting balls, almost playing as a 6 sometimes. So I'm going to give him an 8.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on that one. I'm going to give him an 8. I think he was our most, I would say, on the ball, he was by far the most active center back too, trying to push the ball forward very well. I'm going to give him an 8. But then again, the center backs are very hard to rate on this game because it's not really a defensive test, right? So besides
they weren't really tested. You know, we have to see them against tougher opponents. George Bello. Yeah, I'm going to give Bello a 5 because he didn't do anything. I mean, he had some poor moments. Yeah, maybe 4. Yeah, I'll join you on 4. He was fine, not great. But he had some moments in attack where I thought he should have done a lot better.
Yeah,
so I think 4 is fair.
The reason I gave him a 4 is I gave Shaq Moore an average game. I thought Bello was worse than Shaq Moore. A lot of the plays on offense, he lost the ball, didn't look good with his right foot when he tried to switch. So I'll give him a 4. But then again, he wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I agree. Gianluca Busio.
This is a tough one for me. I had mixed feelings from him at times. I thought he played well at times, and he played poorly at times, struggled with physicality. Set pieces, too. It was like this the whole game.
Yeah, very much a young player's performances. You see the talent, but it's also inconsistent.
I want to give him a 6. I think he was above average, though. I can't really blame him for some of the things he had, the physicality at times. I'm going to give him a 6.
Yeah, look, context matters. When you're evaluating a 19-year-old on his first start in a crucial position, he didn't tear anything up, but, he was. So, yeah, I'm going to give him a 6 sort of as a nod to the creativity and the ability to cross on the goal, for example, Joaquini's goal. And he had some other good passes into attack and other good moments, but not outstanding. That inconsistency was there. Michael Baker, has Busio cemented himself for World Cup qualifiers? No,
complete
Michael.
Opposite.
I didn't say the complete opposite. I say he needs more time to develop, but I don't think he makes a 23 just yet. Although I'd rather have him in attack than Leggett, to be honest. That's my personal.
Yeah, I would go. Well, at least he has we talked about him being inconsistent with the set pieces. Leggett's always bad with the set pieces. So
not just that. Leggett is consistently mediocre, right? Like Leggett's performances are a steady 5. It's not always bad, but he doesn't really offer a whole lot. You know what I mean? So maybe like if you're talking over Leggett, I'd take him over Leggett, but I'd probably also take Caden Clark over Leggett. So or Luca De La Torre or Julian Green. Like there's a lot of people I'd take over Leggett.
But the thing with Busio, the reason I said the complete opposite is it's exactly actually something you point out from him weeks ago, which I don't see it in MLS because MLS doesn't have as much, but the physicality. And when it comes to CONCACAF, when we're going to go play Honduras, I don't know. That's not the player you want to put in the field.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about starting him. I'm talking about a late attacking sub if you need some creativity. But then again, I think there are better players than Busio for that if you need some late creativity.
It might be good for the World Cup, actually.
Maybe. Let's see how he develops in the next 18 months,
We forgot Miles Robinson.
Oh, I'm sorry. Duh. Yeah, Robinson. I'm going to give Robinson a 4.
4. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with a 4 with you as well. I don't know what to rate his performance. I think a 4 is fair just because you shouldn't struggle against Martinique on defense.
No. And Chris has an interesting point about Robinson, which might be fair. Triple G playing Miles on the left center back because Walker and Sands can't, but it's his weakest side. He's top 25 world center back potential. Play him right side, and you'll see how good he really is. Chris, I can't say I agree with you about top 25 world center back. If you're a top 25 center back in the world, you're usually pretty damn good by the time you're 24. Okay? He's not quite that yet. That being said, I can agree with you that maybe being played on his, on his weaker foot doesn't help his position. But again, this was Martinique. Like Tac said, you shouldn't look, not under pressure. You shouldn't look weak against Martinique, right? That's if you're making mistakes against Martinique, you're not a 25 top center back in the world potential there.
Yeah.
Okay. Next we have Eric Williamson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give Eric Williamson an 8.
So I'm going to give him a 7. I'm going to give him more than Busio. I did see issues with his game, but then thinking about a lot of the things you said, in the second half, he got a nice assist. Rewatching the highlights that I'm watching the game actually here right now, The first goal, the cross that DK got, beautiful turn in the midfield from Busio, from Williamson, in a tight space. There were two players compressing in him right there, and a beautiful ball to George Bello. So I think he was better than Busio, and I'm going to give him a 7. He did have issues. Yes, he did lose a dangerous ball and had to commit a foul. Yes. Sometimes he held the ball too much as well. Yes, but I think he was better than Busio today, so I give him a 7. And he's older than Busio. Let's remember that.
Yeah, he's 24. He's 24. I also thought he won a lot more of his duels defensively than Busio did. You're talking about, the physicality of CONCACAF. I thought he dealt with that a lot better. Okay. Who's next? We have Daryl Dike.
Okay, so issues aside, we know his issues. I think I have to give DK 8.5. I don't want to give him a 9 for it, but the guy scored 2 goals, was robbed a goal. He probably had a hat trick. The third goal was a very nice finish that he had. He was cool on the play, clinical finish. I got to give him an 8.5. I'm not going to give it a 9 just because I thought besides that, he didn't really offer much. A lot of time he lost the ball. He plays like with an iron boot at times.
Yeah. So, I'm going to give him an 8. I thought he was great, got his 2 goals, had a hand in one of the other ones, but there are still a few issues there with him technically. That being said, a guy who can bulldoze his way through CONCACAF players is always going to be useful one way or another, right? Maybe not as a starter, but he'll be involved somehow for sure. Next up, Matthew Hoppe.
I gave DK. I know Hoppe didn't score, but I'm going to give him the same rating as DK, even though he had less minutes. Very nice assist to start the game. I'm going to give an 8.5. He was clearly a step or two ahead of every player in the field when it comes to IQ, decision-making, creativity, creating plays, technical ability. 8.5. He has to start for this team, and he can be one of the reasons we make it far into this tournament. The player is above a lot of the CONCACAF players. And I know it's Martinique, so let's wait and see. I don't want to sound like I'm overhyping him, but you could see it when you're watching.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 9. Even though he didn't score any goals, he did get that beautiful cross for DK, and he did so many things on the field that were hard to, quantify. And I'll put a little bit of that on Patreon tomorrow for you guys. But I think he's just so much better than anybody on this team, honestly, and deserves that. Let's go to Christian Roldan.
I'm going to give him a 3. I don't want to sound too harsh, but I don't think the thing is I don't want to give let's say he played like this against Mexico. I wouldn't give him a 3. I think he was kind of like just average throughout the game. But it's a veteran that has a lot of experience in the U.S. men's national team playing against one of the weakest opponents we can face in this tournament, Martinique. And he just looked very just like I don't even know what the word is.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 4 because I don't think he was terrible. But you expect more from him, and especially because Sounders fans had been hyping him up and saying he's a new player this year. He's Nico Lodero levels. Guys, he's Christian Roldan, a good hustler, going to work hard, going to do the basics well, had 1 or 2 bright moments, but not enough for me to consider him USMNT level, So, I'm going to give him a 4. Let's move on to the substitutes. And the first one was... Who was the first one? Because Hoppe came off for Gioacchini, right?
Can I just respond to one thing? Someone saying in the chat, you guys are so anti-MLS that you're ignoring one of the best 9 talents in the US, DK. So shallow and stupid. I just want to respond to that. Look, and I don't mean to be rude. I don't know if he's talking to me, and I don't want to be rude. There's absolutely no way he knows Daryl Dike better than me.
Tac is an Orlando fan. If anything, he should be hyping up Dike.
Not just fan. I've talked to Pareja. Look, sorry. We're not ignoring Dike, and we're recognizing his usefulness in CONCACAF. But we're also not overhyping a player that does have technical deficiencies that Daryl Dike himself admitted to. So we're still very high on Dike, especially in CONCACAF. I think he's going to be super useful. in CONCACAF. But take it easy. He's not a Manchester United player. Like many
didn't we just give him an 8.5 in our rating?
Yeah, that too. I mean,
dude, come on. And also, don't just give me this MLS stuff because all of these guys are from MLS. Okay, I just gave Eric Williamson an 8. Okay, and Gianluca Busio. You know, like, come on, don't pull that one with us. Okay, so the next one is Gioacchini. What are your thoughts on Gioacchini?
He looked somewhat similar to the first game, got a goal too, so I don't think he was bad. Had some good opportunities, good runs. Limited minutes too. How many minutes he played? 20?
Yeah, he played 20 minutes. Came on, I think, 76. No, he came on 54. So, no, he had 54? A full half an hour.
I'm going to give Gioacchini a 7. He scored a goal too. I'm going to give him a 7.
I'll give him a 6 because there were a few moments where, you know, I thought he could have done better with the ball. But again, Gioacchini was playing out of position. I think he's a center forward. The fact that Berhalter wants to use him as a wide forward, I don't think that's his best position. And it's the same for Matthew Hoppe. I don't think either of them works there. I think they're doing their best under a system that doesn't value their assets, right? And that is down to Berhalter again, who failed to bring wingers to this roster. And so Hoppe and Gioacchini and Roldan and others are going to have to try and cover for it to their detriment, in my opinion. So I'll give him a 6. Let's go. The next one was Kellen Acosta, who came on for Shaq Moore in the 54th minute and gave up frankly, a penalty he should not have given up. I'm going to give him a 3.
So I'm gonna have to give him lower. And it's, look, again, not a Costa hate, but I'm gonna give him lower because I can't give him the same rating I gave Roldan. That would be unfair to Roldan.
Yeah.
Costa didn't offer anything when he came in. I don't know why he's playing as a right wing back also. And the PK was all on him. We can debate on it being a soft PK or the ref not having consistency of not giving a PK, but you can't allow a player to dance in front of you like that and just blow by you when it's a Martinique player. That can't happen. Yeah. What would Lozano do to him? Right? I don't know. So I'm giving him a 2.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 3. You know, because I gave Roldan a 4, I'll give him a 3. I don't want to give anybody a 2 in a 7-1 win. But yeah, we would be top of the group right now if it wasn't for Acosta. You know, but then you could also say if Zardes had scored that second goal that he should have scored, we would also be talking the group. So there's different ways to look at it. Speaking of, the next 2 substitutes were Jackson Ewell, who I'm just going to give another straight 3. Just poor across the board. Pretty much everything poor.
Same.
What do you about you?
Same thing. Didn't offer anything as always.
Yeah. And then Gyasi Zardes. I'm going to give Zardes a 6. Because he did score a nice goal. It was a good finish. Yes, he had time and space to do it, but it's not that easy to pick out a corner. So, and he worked hard and he hustled. That being said, I can't give him higher than a 6 because, you know, he was still quite poor technically in moments.
Yeah, I'm gonna just to be different from you, I'm gonna give him a 5.5. He was above average, not because of his performance, but he, like you said, he hustled, a lot of poor touches here and there. But the guy scored a goal, and that's what you expect from a center forward. So he did his job. So yes. Above average, 5.5.
And he always works really hard, Zardes. You know, and I know it's like you don't want to give somebody points for that, but it's part of the game, right? Being a willing runner, a willing worker, you know. So, yeah, I'm going to give him a 6. The other substitute was Donovan Pines. He was the 5th one, right? I'm going to give Donovan Pine. See, he was only on for 13 minutes, and he made 2 pretty bad mistakes and just looked he didn't look like a soccer player. Like, you know what I mean? Just his movement and his running. I'm like, wait, that's a soccer player? I'm going to give him a 3. I don't want to give anybody a 2 on it.
I didn't want to rate his performance because, one, it's his first game. But then again, you said he's 23.
I think he's 24, honestly.
Yeah, so then I can be
he spent a long time in college. Oh, he's 23. My bad. He's 23.
Okay, but it's still not that young, right? He's not U20 level. He's barely Olympic age. So, yeah, I got to give him like a 3 or a 2. Honestly, I have to give him a 2 because, again, I'll be unfair to Roldan. He has to be lower than Roldan. So I got to give him a 2. I got to give him. He didn't look good. I know some DC fans did talk him up, some didn't. I'm more with the ones that said he's not that good. I'm more with them right now.
Yeah, he's really not, guys. There are just some people you can just tell already, like they're not going to be a talented quality player, and that's Donovan Pines for you. Last rating, and probably an interesting one, Greg Berhalter. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
This is a tough one.
I don't think it's that tough, okay? Because he got a 6-1 win. He gave us the lineup that we wanted, right? Those two things are, for me, pretty big. He had the courage to leave Busio on the whole time. But at the same time, he still brought on Acosta and Ewell and Donovan Pines. I'm going to give Berhalter an 8. And I know some people are going to be shocked to hear that coming from me. I still think there's a lot of issues with Greg Berhalter, but I'm going to give him his credit when credit is due. And that was an excellent lineup and a big-time win. Okay? Might have been higher if he hadn't brought on Acosta and Ewell.
So the reason I said it was a tough one was because I'm going to have to give him above a 5. I can't remember the last time I gave him above a 5. But here's the thing. I don't think the Donovan Pines sub was bad by any means. I think the call-up was bad, right? If you brought that player in and the game was won, you might as well put him in. Let's see what he can do. And it wasn't good. So the call-up was bad. Acosta and Ewell, you couldn't be more spot on those two. It didn't make any sense. Why don't you put James Sands as the 6? Let's see what he does there. Leave Shaq Moore unless Shaq Moore is injured, but I don't know.
So the Shaq Moore thing was that he was out of season as well, and he just played along, 90 minutes. So maybe he was trying to give Shaq Moore a rest. There could have been other ways to do it, though, I think, than putting Kellen Acosta as a right back. Hopefully Reggie Cannon comes back soon because we need better options there, than Acosta. So yeah, I'm going to give him an 8 because it was. Yeah, I'll give him an 8 because it was a good win, and that lineup was almost perfect, right? Considering this roster. Now, a lot of these roster decisions are always going to haunt him in this tournament. The lack of width and wide attacking players is going to haunt him. So that being said, today was a good day for Greg Berhalter. Applause. And guys, I don't hate Greg Berhalter. I'll give him credit when credit is due. He did it today. Congrats to him. Whew. We did it.
So just one thing, Pete, there was a super chat that I think you missed, and I'm gonna read it. So it was from Tequila Dylan. He said, "Good night, boys. Entertaining game at least." And then he put I think that's the Cuban flag.
Okay.
I think it is. So Tequila Dylan, thank you and good night. He's probably gone now. He probably went to sleep.
Thank you, Tequila Dylan. Appreciate it. Fallen Phoenix says striker depth chart: Sargent, DK, Hoppy, Jawakini, Pfok, False 9, Zardes. Oh boy. See, I agree with the first 3. I'm probably fine with the first 4. I'm not sure about Pfok. I still have real questions about Pfok and Zardes both. So I guess that's fine. Like I don't have real issues with that. What about you, Tac?
I'm okay with that too. The only thing I would probably switch because of the way Berhalter wants to play, maybe I'll put Hoppy ahead of DK. Maybe. But I need to see Hoppy at the center forward for the US as well. But yeah, that one's fine. It's pretty much what it is. And yeah, Siabachu or Pfok, I don't know, man. He's not young anymore. He's been playing in a very weak league. And he had his chance in Nations League, and it didn't look very good. I know he scored the goal that saved us with Honduras, but he didn't look very good.
Yeah.
I'm low on him right now.
Okay. Julio Campos. Pfok is the only consistent scorer we had in Europe after DK. Yet another rare bad take. Guys, Europe is not created equal. Okay. Switzerland is not a good league. Okay. Scoring in Switzerland and getting a header or two in Europa League does not make you a good player necessarily. And we're judging them on USMNT performances. And his performances for USMNT have been pretty bad.
Look, and he's not even a lock-in starter for young boys at the Swiss League. I followed him every week. We have the USMNT Abroad series. I followed Pfok every single week. He's not a consistent starter less a consistent scorer. He's none of those.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. You know, I don't understand the PFOC hype. He's not been good. Even his like movement off the ball, his technique, it's just not been great, you know? So,
you know what's funny to me, Pete? When we got PFOC, it was very funny because some people were acting as if we got him from France. We didn't get him from France.
No.
He actually got the US, to be honest. It was a win for him. I mean, it's good to have him as an option. Who knows? We might need him. But we never beat France to him. Just France never won it.
I would rather have DK than PFOC. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
S27, I'm sorry if I missed your super chat. Please put it in the chat and I will read it. My apologies. Ken the King. Against Canada, then this is a good question, actually, to sort of close out the night and talk about this. Against Canada, do you think he'll revert back to the weak lineup from the Haiti game or sprinkle in some of these guys into the lineup? I have a feeling it's going to be a sprinkle, right? I hope to God that we continue to see DK, Hoppy, and Williamson at least, right? I think those three really performed. I would also like to see James Sands, maybe as the 6. Is he going to do that against Canada? I doubt it very much. You know who I think is going to play against Canada? Jackson Ewell. And what can you say? But at the very least, can we see Hoppy instead of Lewis, DK instead of Zardes, and Williamson instead of Sebastian Lletget? I don't think that's going to happen, but I would like to see it. We'll see. We'll see what Berhalter does. We didn't think he would put this lineup out tonight, so he's hard to predict. He did put this out tonight, right? So give him credit for that. Maybe he's learning. Maybe he's changing. Maybe he's growing as a coach. Maybe he watches our streams. I doubt very much.
No, I told you why he put this lineup, Pete. I already told you. He looks on Twitter and he does the complete opposite. So I tweeted out to start you, John. So he saw that and he just decided, like, all right, they want that. We're going to put the opposite. Yeah. But to add one thing, he's probably going to sprinkle in some of the guys into the lineup. But I do see it very possible that he keeps this formation, this 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1, whatever it was today. He might actually keep this.
Yeah. Okay. S27. I'm guessing this is the super chat. Musa/Reina should be our 10 in qualifying. Yeah, I would see that. I would definitely say Reina, preferably. In qualifying, I'm fine with Musa playing next to McKennie because I also think that from a pressing perspective, you know, he offers a lot of creativity. And when he gets the ball, he is a little bit like Eric Williamson in the sense that he can dribble at players. We just need to see him do it more consistently. I would still prefer Gio Reyna as our number 10. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, though, because Berhalter wants him to play wide. So, all right. Guys, this has been a ton of fun. Another good win. We go again on Sunday against Canada. We'll be here through it all, just like always. Again, Tac, you look exhausted. Thanks for all of this. Get some sleep. Everybody, we will see you guys soon. Have a fantastic night. We got the win. We're through to the quarterfinals. It's a good day. Lots of young players. Lots to be positive about. Have a great night, guys. And we will see you all on Sunday. Bye now.